And also, I want to get this out the way. Yes, I get it. The consensus may believe that black men are fucking misogynistic. Let's put this shit to shame. Black men voted for Hillary at an 82% cap. You know who was high on on the Republican side? White and Mexican people that were voting for him. Guess who's high again on this side as well? Now, black men may be higher than we was last year, but we still ain't putting nothing to the flames of white and Mexican people that voted for Trump. So before you come on this page, if you're a black person, whether you be a black woman or a black man, and you try to say that it's black men's misogynist nature, misogynistic, misogyny, black men voted for Hillary, even though she had the hot sauce in her bag swag. You remember that? That fucking bullshit. Black men still voted for Hillary at an 82% cap, dog. So before you even get on that wave, stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. That's if that's what you want to believe, cool. Cool. But it's not the fact that she was a woman. Okay? It's not that. You see the title of this video. That's what we're going to discuss. It's an exchange. She had no tangible evidence of her being able to even provide what she said that she was gonna what she said she was gonna provide. And she has a history of being on some real fucked up anti-black stuff. I'ma just keep it a bean. I'm just keeping a bean. It was very anti-black of her in her history of being a cop. What do you call top cop of Cali back in the day? But we gonna get into it, dog. All right. So I think that it's a lot of things out there that tell us to shut your mouth and do what we say, for lack of better words, Obama. When he wagged his finger in black men's faces on what they should not do, as if he's somebody's daddy, which is even more disturbing when I think about it. Damn, that's disturbing to think about. But that's what they put Obama in place for, is to wag his fingers at black people that's not on the straight and narrow path as an American. As an American, and do what we tell you to do as a Democrat. Because that's why they got his ass in office. And to be honest with you, I voted for Obama. I did. But I voted for him for the wrong reasons. I gifted my vote to Obama. Not because of his policies. I'm gonna be straight up. I didn't vote for Obama for his policies. You know why I was voting for Obama? Because everybody told me, vote for this man because he looks like you, not because what he's done for you or what he will do for you. My mom, my grandma, I mean, people like a lot of women in my family. I won't say my sister. My sister was not with the bullshit. She don't even She like don't give me that bullshit, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? But yeah, like a lot of the women in the black community was basically forcing the finger on black men, telling them what they should do and what they shouldn't do. And some black men too. Some black men was like, "You better do this because this is great for all black people." It's kind of like this situation where I seen Kamala talk about, if we can talk about all groups, then we could talk about your group. When we're asking the question about what you're gonna do specifically for our group of people, specifically black people, why is it that you always bring up all people? And she kept going, well, we're never going to do something specifically for you as a black person, as black people. We're going to do something that can help you, but, you know, and going on when you keep hearing that and keep hearing that, we're not going to do some specific. That's why I'm not mad at the people that says that reparations is never going to happen. I'm not mad at that view. I'm not mad at it. I don't want it to, and I think that it goes to what another woman that's in this video. You have to keep fighting for it to let them know that this is not gonna. I'm not gonna. This is gonna be relentless. Relentless. I'm never gonna relent. You understand what I mean? It's gonna have to be a constant execution of your rights. But I can understand. I also understand the exhaustion, the aspect of being tired of having to keep reinstate the aspect that I'm a human being and not a little boy. Obama. I'm a grown ass man. Democratic Party. Like I'm a black man. Democratic Party. And like I said before, I made this video because I wanted to be known what my views are on this for people to that may think like me, where you may not agree with what I say. You may not agree with, and I'm not trying to get you to agree. Don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to. For anybody that comments under my page, you are an idiot because I'm not trying to get you to agree. If you're commenting on my page to say to me how I'm wrong or how I should agree, you are part of the problem with America. People should be able to have their decisions and have their qualms and have their perspectives, and it should be okay. The problem is when you try to force people's decision, when you try to wag your finger in their face, when you try to basically ostracize, when you try to basically condemn or publicly humiliate Obama, a group of people because of their decisions on what they may view in America as more important than others. That's the whole point. That I think this is why I personally think that that's why Kamala lost the vote, is because of her views on what she should do and how she should address the people that really wasn't agreeing with a lot of the shit that she was saying. But this is my personal opinion. But we're gonna go into the video, and these are just videos that I randomly showed up. I woke up this morning and I seen these videos and I just wanted to talk about them. You know what I mean? If anything, like I said before, if you do, I want people to disagree. Also, I want people that disagree to understand a perspective. You understand what I mean? I don't agree with everything that's out there, but I also understand the perspective. You understand? It's like I remember playing or watching movies, and I remember playing games, and I don't agree with villains, but I understand. It's like I understand. I understand the perspective, the life view, what they came from, the trauma. You understand what I mean? But for lack of better words, let's get into the video. I like I said before, my last video got so much hate clicks that I'm not gonna hold you. I'm kind of like, okay, this is not only helping me, it's hurting me in a sense of I hate the fact that these many people, it's not even hurting me, to be honest with you, it's kind of helping me. But I hate the fact that there's so much of these people that believe Asmongold's apology, right? And not only do they believe it, but they also vehemently were condemning me on my perspective on the facts. This is what he's given us. I'm just basically saying that Asmongold is who he is, and we should just accept that fact, that that's just who he is. Trump is who he is. Kamala is who she is. Us trying to fantasize what they could be is the part of the problem. If they have shown us who they are, why are we still trying to, oh, if we just give them our vote and we give them our time and they'll change. They got black women mad to this day about Kamala because she was supposed to be at Howard. My sister told me she was supposed to be at Howard last night and she changed her views last minute. And she's going today, but a lot of the people are very mad at her for basically not following through on what she said, mind you. The possible president said that, nah, I'm not going to y'all. Do you think that she would have done that? Do you think that she would have done that to Jewish people? You think that she would have just called off her reunion? Her meeting with Jewish people? How much you want to bet that because they were black, that she had a very less of a chance of trying to? I'm here to be that motherfucker. I'm here to be that nigga. How much you want to bet that if they were Jewish people, she would be there with the quickness. But because they are black, and the crazy thing is that they're the same black group of people that she said that she is, I can only imagine how much of a devastating view that they have towards her when it comes to her keeping her word as a possible future president. And you just fall through. There's some people that saying, she just had so much to do. She just had so much to do. And how much you want to bet those people look like me that said that? It's a sickness. Also, I haven't preached it. This is a sickness. It's a sickness within our black people that just don't want to fucking call it what it is. And I'm just basically, I'm just watching the flames being, because this is just the start of the fire, the forest fire. Yes, I don't think that Trump is good for this country, but goddamn it, I'd be damned if I think that Kamala was gonna be good for this country as well. I think that she was gonna be a lot of save facing. She's gonna be a, let me say this. She's gonna be good for a particular set of people in this country. You do the math on who's the set of people that she's gonna be good for. I think it's gonna be whoever lays her pockets, predominantly not black people that she said that she's black, or predominantly not people that's people of color that look like her. All I'm gonna say is this is just nothing new. This is just nothing new. This is just nothing new, man. And going forward, this is just my views. We're gonna watch some videos. I want to talk about, discuss some things. Y'all can comment in the comment section on what y'all feel, whether you agree or disagree. I don't mind. I actually appreciate the discourse, even if it is discourse of trolls on troll accounts. I appreciate you for commenting. I think y'all got the message with the last video. Like, y'all are fucking idiots if y'all trolls and commenting on my page. Y'all just bringing more views. But we're gonna start this videos, and let's just get started, man.
They could even have an abortion without even you finding out. So if you want a protection from all of that, you just vote for Trump. And that's what the GOP can now pitch to working class and poor Americans. Because liberals are careless. These are the liberals. Those are the people who closed your schools just because of COVID, but they closed your schools. These are the people who decided that your kids don't need to learn how to learn phonics. They can just learn sight words or whole words. So pretty much teaching your kids how to guess. Liberals are careless, and they're bad. I've said before on other streams, other videos, that liberals in America are the worst parents in America. They just have money for the rehabs and all of the remediation that has to deal with their awful kids, and the kids that they have made awful. So people vote for Trump as a protection, as a prophylactic against cultural liberalism, to protect their family, because that's what people spend money on anyway. So if the people over $100,000 can spend money picking and choosing which aspect of cultural liberalism invades their family, the people under $100,000 don't have that excess disposable income to pick and choose and buy prophylaxis. They need the government to make sure that their neighborhood doesn't smell like pot, that drugs are kept out of their school, that their kids aren't being marketed lifestyles which are not particularly healthy by people who are not going to have to deal with the fallout of the lifestyle that is being marketed to them. And that is worth money. And that is worth money to poor and working class people. So even if they don't agree with Trump on even economic issues, the calculus, and it's not the worst calculus, that it's actually cheaper to take the pay cut for a government that will protect my family and my ability to determine my family, is actually a reasonable calculus. Because if you raising kids screwed up, especially by liberalism, is expensive. You know, the rehabs and the wasted years and all of that. It's expensive, raising screw ups. So if Trump will make it easier for me to raise my kid against some of these lifestyles that are marketed as their choice, then I'll take the economic hit and vote for the conservative, right? So that's why the poors will vote for Trump, even though it might not be in their economic interest. And you're not going to get them back by just promising them a raise, because what they would buy with that money is cultural protection. And Trump is just offering them cultural protection wholesale, outright. So they don't have to make money and then secure the cultural protection themselves. Trump is just saying, don't worry about it. If I become president, you don't have to worry about your kid coming home wanting to be trans. Which, for people who don't have the resources to actually deal with that, that's actually an attractive bargain. Right? So you're going to call me all sorts of names because of this, but I'm just telling you the truth. And by the way, if you want me to keep telling the truth, www.funkyacademic.com. And I'll keep doing what I'm doing. So, first, Trump's election kills abortion as a single issue. Now abortion must be a part of a constellation. Second, Trump won the working class because he offers cultural protection, not economic protection. Because if you give that working class money, what they do with it is buy cultural protection. So economic arguments won't win. You need to say that, like, there's a mea culpa on cultural liberalism, and we might have gone too far, and we jeopardize families in ways that are not appropriate. We jeopardize family authority. I'm going to do a different video on spheres of authority that deals with both why gun rights are important and also why family authority is important and also why political authority is important and how they're different and how they all need to be preserved in their sphere and how just reducing everything to political authority is not great. But that's a different video. So, number 3, I'm going to talk about the real best part of Trump winning, and that's Vance. Vance as your hungry young vice president. Vance is your hungry young vice president. Vance is going to be a problem. Vance is going to be a problem in 2028. And the Democrats are either going to go whole neocon, ridiculous globalist to defeat him, or they're going to actually just become better. They're going to have to actually become better than Vance, because he's going to be an entire problem. He's going to talk about family in a way that's relevant. He's going to talk about child tax credits. He's going to actually talk about families. And like I said, if liberals want you to get divorced, Vance is going to want you to have a nuclear family. And he's going to make arguments about that. And he's going to be very comfortable talking about the importance of family. And you know what? His book is good. It's not this ghost-written memoir that politicians put up. Hillbilly Elegy is actually a good book about degenerate white families that are too violent, lack culture, and some have money, some don't, but they're all degenerates. And he thinks that that's a problem. And he thinks that kids deserve more than that kind of family, right? And so he talks about his degenerate family and how that wasn't quite fair. And then he contrasts that with his wife's family. He's like, the first time he met Usher's family, he's like, oh, these people are functional. They're not violent. They work with their kids on homework. They know what to do. So you're dealing with Vance in 2028 is one of the best things about Trump in 2024. If you just forget Trump. Trump now gives Vance a platform, and he's the one you got to worry about. And he's going to be trying to run up the score, especially now that he's got a Republican Congress. Now there are no real excuses, right? So the way we keep Vance accountable is saying, like, look, you had a Republican Congress. Why didn't you do the things you want to do? But now I think I have a problem with Vance in some ways, in a lot of ways, actually. But I think he's a better on some issues, including families, than the Democrats. And if he moves the Republican Party to the left on family issues, then the Democrats actually have to come up with a more substantive, coherent family policy about how family figures. Like, if you think Trump took a few of your unions, Vance is going to take a third of them. Vance is going to take a third of the unions unless the Democrats actually come up with a more substantive policy. That's simply the case. And
I'm gonna just be honest with you. I'm already seeing the discourse, the back and forth. They're blaming black people. On, mind you, the predominant race in this country is white. So they're blaming black people for the Democratic loss. And we're also the only race that has voted consistently Democratic overwhelmingly. And then you have a lot of our black women. They well, not a lot. I'll just say some. It's a good amount. It's like a loud majority. I'll say that. It's a loud majority. A loud minority of black women that are screaming that this is black men's fault. To that, I say what Jeremy Frimpong said. Those black men were basically wanting the cultural. The Republicans are selling the cultural aspect of keeping it a nuclear family, because a lot of black men also want the American dream of a nuclear family. They don't want to be by themselves, like we see a lot of the dating relationship quote unquote gurus are talking about, basically independent and alone, or basically okay with being single, okay with just having a child and not having a husband or a wife. A lot of black men want a wife. Now, whether that a lot of black women want a husband, that's not always the case. You know what I mean? But a lot of black men do want a nuclear family with a house and you know what I mean, to be able to have to raise their children, and it goes back to the allure of having that's being sold to us by Republicans. Not just that, but the aspects of the allure of having control in the household and not just being a yes man to your wife. The whole happy wife, happy life trope. I think that Happy Wife, Happy Life has made the last 8 to shit, probably longer than that, 8 to 16 years, where we at. I can even go back to the whole aspect. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up. But basically, Obama went once again. Obama, he's a trip. Obama wagging finger to black men. This is
You're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable.
wagging his finger as if he's somebody's father or some type of person that we should look up. Because mind you, when Obama was in office, he was kind of like a male Kamala, where she says up front, I'm not going to do something for black folks. She said it upright. Let me look it up. This is by the Griot.
Do you support reparations for black people?
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, black people have not.
You see how she included everybody when the question was about reparations for black people? That's the issue when it comes to conversations like this. We don't ask about everybody. We're asking specifically for black people. This is what I want black people to understand, whether you be from black American descendants of slaves, the ADOS, whether you be the diaspora, whether you're African, Caribbean, first generation, second generation, it does not matter. Voting is an exchange. It's not a gift. That comes from a significant person. If you know, you know. But voting is an exchange. It's not a gift. This country, when it comes to black people, we have been gifting our vote. Gifting. Let's just call a spade a spade. We've been giving it to them off of the aspect of, hey, I'm black, so I might as well vote this way. Or I don't even agree with the other hand, where you'll vote Republican just because you don't like the fact that, mind you, this is my personal opinion, but I don't believe that you should vote Republican just because Democrats got you mad. Vote Republican because they have some type of views or some type of playing field or some type of agenda that you agree with. You understand what I mean? But like I said before, Emery from Pong, basically, the views of Republican Party is that they're selling the aspect of a nuclear family. And to be honest with you, black men want that. Black people want that, but a lot of black men want that. They want to be able to have a family, first off. They want to be able to have a woman that looks up to them. They want to be able to have children that can depend on them. But the first thing that they need is jobs. You understand what I mean? The first thing that they need is some type of substance and you know what I mean? Like basically, but that's the thing that like Jeremy Frimpong said. They're not selling you the aspects of you're gonna have a job. That's what the Democrats are selling you. You're gonna have a job. That's the kicker. That's the kicker with the whole traditional view. Democrats are selling that you're gonna have a job, but the family, we don't. It is what it is. You just got to figure it out. Republicans are like, you're gonna have a family. When it comes to a job, it is what it is. You got to figure it out. And that's the lesser of the two evils. That's what I'm getting personally. That's what I'm getting to it. It, to be honest with you, because I am in a place where I have a job, I have a union, I have, I'm working, and been working, I'm good. But I do want a family. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for aspects of being able to have a family. But to be honest with you, with the conversation about black men being damn near the scum of the earth after this, it's all black men's fault. This is what we're dealing with. This is the criteria of a loud minority. I'll say, like I said before, I don't believe it's all black women. I think that there are black women that do agree that the men should be the first and foremost the people that hold the family together. But I'm gonna just let this play.
And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the Lift Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
That's out of her own mouth.
I've known the president for years now, and a mutual contact, said that he wanted to speak. I wanted to speak to him. I didn't offer it as a criticism. For me, it was nothing more than strategists in a room saying, hey, what is the best messaging for black men? I have focused the past 6 weeks of going around the country with a barbershop campaign, right? Going to barbershops to talk to black men, since I heard this every election cycle, they always say that black men are siphoned off. And I've found the most effective way to communicate to the men in those gatherings was saying, what do you want? Vote for what you want. Declare what your values
Voting is an exchange, not a gift.
are, and then go out and make the choice on that. Don't consider my candidate or the other candidate. Vote for what you want. And I found it to be effective. What they would say is, what are you doing here? This is the first time someone came and asked that of me. And so I was saying, simply, that's not the way to get to folks. What I've experienced in the past 6 weeks is the fact folks want to see, what have you delivered?
Did he acknowledge that it was not delivered the right way?
We actually didn't get into which was better or if it was criticism. It was saying that we were on the same page. We just wanted to clear it. We wanted to make sure that we were on the same page and that we wanted to reach out to folks. And I think it's just a matter of messaging, one way or the other, and that the focus shouldn't be on the criticism or what is perceived as criticism or what is perceived as the right way or the wrong way to get to black men. The first thing is to approach and engage black men, accept the challenge, and get out the vote.
I mean, Coleman, we had you on last week when this happened. You were critical of it then.
Yeah.
And you probably believe, I assume, that there is some movement toward the right among
Absolutely.
black men.
I mean, we've been talking about that not only on this show, on other shows on this network.
This man, he got his come up by basically doing some wild shit. He was trying to be like a rapper, I guess, or some type of artist. I don't even know how valid his views on anything. So I just take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to his ass, because I already know his history.
for over a year. Pew has been studying this issue. There is a clear trend among black men towards the Republican Party and away from Democrats. It's not just about Trump or Biden or Kamala. It's about a party effect. And the question is, why is that? I think it's even bigger than black men. I think it's men in general. I think there's something about the Democratic Party
I think it's
that is
insignificant.
a lot.
It's
probably
insignificant.
20 different
We've
poll
had
results
the
say
same
differently.
conversation going all the way back.
No, actually, it's
into
really
the
a
80s.
phenomenon of
And the fact is, in this election,
the past 8 years.
give me any candidate who wouldn't want 85% of any demographics vote.
Trump
'Cause
actually
that's
got
what
more
they're
of the black vote in 2020 than
I
2016.
know, he actually
also-
got 3
But that's
points.
within-
You're actually right. He got
Sorry,
3
what?
more points. He got 3 more points.
You also think it's
And yes,
not as significant.
a trend line is not 4. Is not 3 points.
Exactly.
Burying your head in the sand isn't going to
not
fix
I
burying
it.
know,
your
and that's why we're going
It's a
around
real
messaging
trend.
to people.
Right, but I
Equity.
think the
Obviously,
problem
calling
Obama
black
had,
men sexist
I think
is
the
not
problem,
gonna
the
fix
problem
this issue.
Obama had, and I even reacted to it when he did it, and I've been on the other side of when Obama does that. It's the sort of lectury chiding Obama without treating them in a respectful manner. I didn't find that a respectful way to treat anybody, and immediately really pushing hard on identity politics over what do you want as a person, not just a man, as a person in American society. And I think there's a part of Obama that is the hope person, and then there's that. And I don't think that's an effective way. I think you're 100%
Well,
right.
I think what he was saying is something that we've all been saying, and that's something that, I mean, as offensive as Donald Trump is to black men, it's very hard for a black man to understand why would someone vote for.
Right.
Right? It's racist actions, it's racist words, it's racist.
Get this to your head. Black men that don't understand that, like himself, I think he understands that, but even people that don't have this hue, a lot of, especially black people that's from the South, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of black people understand this. I would rather have a racist that's in my face racist. I would rather have that than have somebody that's gonna smile in my face and stab me in my back. I'd rather be upfront. I'd rather you tell me who you are, so I can, like I said it with the Asmongold video. I said it with the PewDiePie video. As long as I know that you are who you are and you tell me who you are, I can go about how I'm gonna move with you, how I'm gonna maneuver with you. The most dangerous people, I'm pretty sure that this is definitely a passage, and whether it be the Bible, whether it be the Art of War, Judas, I'd rather have somebody that's literally in my face than in my crew or around my fucking family, around my people, smiling in their face and sell them for a fucking 5 cents to $1 for 12 shekels. I'd rather have that upfront racist than behind my back. And I think that I'm gonna be very crass, but I think that a lot of people, black people that have died due to hate crimes, can probably attest and can agree. And the funny thing is that it's not funny. It's very we got a dark sense of humor. But basically, the fucked up thing is, I say hate crimes, but even to this day in this country, a lot of the crimes where black people have end up missing or end up hung, there's still to this, within the last month, there was a black man that was hung. He was a trucker. And they just somehow can't call it a hate crime. It has to be an investigation, because he probably hung himself as he's doing his racism. For all the people that's surprised, for all the people that, because I'm gonna go to this other video, for all the people that's exhausted with this conversation, at least you know that racism is still here. Now you know. If you've never experienced racism in your life as a black person, now you know. Now let's go to the, I'm gonna listen to them.
Right? And
We'll
so
listen to
that
some
was the
more.
thing that's in the front. And so what I said was reactionary. I said, yeah, the president shouldn't speak to them that way. Because I have found that something is more effective.
Right.
It was seen as criticism, and that's valid. I don't think that's as much an issue as the point of making sure that we continue to talk to them and get them out to the polls. And the trend that you're talking about is not that, it will not be that significant.
It's on the
Will not be,
margins.
it's on the margins, and those 2 or 3 points may add up to something, and that's why we're engaging black men. That's why the vice president has put out a platform to answer some of those challenges.
This is a key question, actually, because
Real
I wanted to
quick,
ask you
Scott.
that the policies in that, I mean, effectively, She said, I'm going to give you marijuana, I'm going to give you crypto, and I'm going to give you unconstitutional government bribes. If a white
That's not-
Republican politician had done that, we would be in
that-
24/7
we gotta
racial
go, but
coverage
real
right now.
disservice
Scott,
to like an
yeah,
actual
and-
substantive
and
policy
actually-
platform.
To me, it was completely
Actually,
pandering
Scott,
from
Scott. Okay, young people, regardless of their race, they want to hear about crypto. They want to hear about
It was for
marijuana.
black men. It was stated to be for only
decriminalization.
Yeah, it was
black
stated
men.
because black men asked, "What are you going to do for me?" And hold on, Scott.
The loans,
The idea that those
the
are
loans
just
were by
saying
race,
that
which
this
is
is what
unconstitutional.
black men is, I think, not true.
It's not loans for black men. It's
That's what
loans
it
for
was.
anyone. No, it isn't.
It
No,
was
it isn't.
specifically
She
said.
was
She was
actually.
telling
She
this
was
will-
telling you this will be effective for you too.
For you.
Listen, I get it. Shoot the fucking messenger, right? That's what people are probably thinking because he's white and he's a white male and he's a white male Republican. I get it. But let's just call it what it is. It would be NFTs or crypto or whatever the fuck else, right? It would also be weed and also some type of, I'm sure he was probably throwing his little sauce on it when it comes to loans, but he said it was loans for black people, right? And then they corrected him. The black man and the black man and the other Democrat was correcting him and saying it was for everybody. That's the point of it being a problem, because it was supposed to be directed to black people, black men. It was supposed to be directed to black people. Y'all are literally proving his point without even realizing it. But when you ask for something specifically for you, right? Why are you, in your logic, in y'all logic, right? Why are you then saying that this benefits all people when I'm asking you for something for us specifically? Japanese internment camp got reparations. Jewish people got reparations. American Indians still getting reparations. You understand what I mean? And this is on a constant basis on they ask for an exchange. They ask for an exchange. Why is it when it comes to black folks, y'all, all you can think of is NFTs? All you can think about is weed? Weed, bruh? Weed. I get it. Shoot the messenger because it's him saying it, right? But it, like he said, if this was a white man that said this to those black men and said that, hey, I'm going to approve weed because I know you smoke a lot of it. Or I'm going to do NFTs and crypto because you're not going to get a real job. You're not going to get a job with benefits and you're not going to get none of that. I'm not going to offer it to you. But you're an entrepreneur, aren't you? you're a certified entrepreneur. They want to say drug dealer. You're an entrepreneur. They want to say content creator. You know what type of content creator? You're an entrepreneur, aren't you? Man, fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here, dog. But like I said before, it is what it is. I get it. It's the messenger. It's the messenger. He's white. He's a male. He's Republican. Like I said before, I want to see all sides, even the motherfuckers that I don't agree with. I want to see what they got to say, because sometimes they'll slip up and tell some truth, even though it's covered with a little bit of bullshit. You know what I mean? It's a little bit of drizzle, a little razzle dazzle of bullshit. But yes, if it was a white man that said this to a barbershop of black men saying that I'm gonna give you basically reform of weed because I need to get those motherfuckers that do weed a business, mind you. Let's not even talk about how many white people that have benefited off of the fact that legalizing weed. Let's not even go there. The legalization of weed and how much white people have, I'm not sure, but I feel like that there's even the cover up of black owned spaces of weed are still being funded by white people, like shareholders, white hands, which is cool, right? Cool. But no, just give us the money. Don't just give us the money because it benefits you somehow in the back end because it still gets money in your pocket. Because I'm pretty sure that when they give them that money, is not to just be like, this is a gift. This is an exchange. It's always going to be an exchange. But I'm going to let them finish, man.
Also,
that I had already put out a week ago.
It's not specifically for a black man. It's for everyone. You understand what I mean? And they try to lump it in as, oh, well, that includes you, so that's about you. No, it's not the same. And to talk down on us, to wag your finger at us, to tell us that this is for you, when really in reality it's for everybody else and it's not specifically for us. When we ask, what are you going to do specifically for us? It's like you're pissing on our head and calling it rain. And they've done this a lot. We're just calling them out on the bullshit. Like I said before, I don't agree with going Republican after this. I'm kind of quite tired of both of their shenanigans. But like I've said with my last video, sometimes when you fuck around and find out, you get the prescriptions. The prescriptions. I need to put that on a fucking t-shirt. You get the prescriptions, my nigga. Like, you get the fucking prescriptions. And these are the prescriptions. Like, this is what it is.
Ago, actually a month ago, that these entrepreneurial loans will be beneficial to you. Just like I tell black folks, it is a black policy. Social Security is a black policy. Medicare is a black policy. It is effective, and it impacts your community as much as anyone else's community.
All right,
so it is
everyone.
not identity politics.
Thank
It's actually American policy.
For today's show, I have to get started with some.
I got to give the shenanigans because this dude is fucking hilarious. I'm not gonna hold you. He's fucking stupid. He's stupid as hell, but he be talking his shit though. He be with the shenanigans. Let me before we get to the shenanigans, let's watch this.
Donald Trump won the 2024 presidential election. And I know that many people will want me to solely blame Kamala Harris's campaign strategy or the Democrats as a party. But frankly, you cannot convince me that a nation of people who cannot be convinced not to vote for a white
Donald Trump will become the 47th
every marginalized community and their entire democracy is without blame, that they are not responsible for their choices and the consequences that will follow. I want to make this brief because frankly, it's clear to me that I have been wasting my breath trying to warn Americans of the dangers of a Trump administration because Trump himself told them what those dangers were. He didn't run on policy. He didn't promise to build anything. Instead, he promised to tear this nation apart, to break things down. He openly promised us police violence, total police immunity, not only the deportation and abuse of undocumented immigrants, but to reverse naturalization for immigrants who became U.S. citizens already. He promised to ban abortion nationwide, to dismantle the EPA, the Department of Education. He promised to ban our history, to ban books, to keep the American public even dumber than apparently more than 64 million Americans already are, because the majority of this country's voters voted for him. Understand this. Donald Trump did not just win the Electoral College. He won the popular vote. And I would argue he won it by a landslide. For years, I have listened to Americans insist that Hillary Clinton is to blame for losing the 2016 election to Donald Trump. That she was too unlikable. That she called Trump voters deplorables. That she didn't campaign enough in the swing states. And for years, I have thought how ridiculous a nation must be to insist it made perfect sense to elect a white supremacist, sexist, xenophobic, racist, stupid ass bigot who told us exactly who he was because the woman he ran against wasn't likable enough, that she didn't campaign hard enough. All the while, I have thought that if it's an uphill battle for anyone to beat a white supremacist, they are far more qualified than, for any reason, it is an indictment on the nation. But that's never what I've said, because I have always chosen to try to be mindful about how I discuss U.S. elections whose results totally upend my life. And I knew, not just based on that election, or the general voting patterns of each demographic in this country, or the bigoted discourse that's been suffocating us all for 3 election cycles now, but by my lived experience as a black woman, that this deeply racist and sexist country that refused to elect a white woman would not elect a black woman. I knew that. And I voiced that the moment Joe Biden dropped out and Kamala Harris became the nominee. But I allowed people to muscle me into believing America isn't who I've always known it to be, and who it continues to show me it is. I listened to people tell me that I was being too cynical to believe she would have an impossible hill to climb, to believe that white women would never vote for her no matter what they told you, that this country hates black women, that it hates immigrants, and that it hates Kamala Harris not for who she is, but what she is. But people wanted her to win. We wanted her to win. They wanted to believe she could win. They wanted to feel optimistic which required them to believe America was not America. So they convinced themselves Kamala Harris could win if she did X, Y, Z. If she ran a particular kind of campaign, if she was more left, if she was less left, if she laughed less, if she talked more, the list goes on. And people were so convinced. I let them sell me a dream I knew was a mirage. I let people muscle me into forgetting the most important truth about racism and misogyny, which is that it doesn't care about truth. It does not care about qualifications.
I'm gonna let her finish. I will let her finish, but I just want to say this, and I just came across her page. Like YouTube suggested me your page, Olu Renati. But basically, yes, a lot of people are in those same type of shoes. I was in those same type of shoes when I voted for Obama. Yes, Obama has done good. He has done some good, right? But can we be honest and just be honest straight up? Like, we got Obama in office. We did. Us, black people, we did. And he's still going around somehow, still going around chastising black people, specifically black men, on what they should and should not do when you did not do anything specifically for us. But somehow, whenever Democrats need you to talk to black men or talk to black people, this is what you do. It's like a slap in our face, like, damn, my nigga, like, we voted for you. And you still coming back around like, oh, you better not be talking to Massa like that. Oh, you better not be doing this. It's like the house nigga syndrome. It really is. It really, truly is. Olu, I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about, but basically it's the concept of basically Obama is looked at in the black people community that like he is the lapdog for Democrats to go around and sucking it on black people whenever they not acting the way Democrats want them to act. And then not only that, but proven to you, they got another black man, another black actor to say, what do you think about this? Like, we know what it is. It's just that they can't talk about it because they don't want to seem racist. Yes, this country has been built off of racism. That's what make America what it is, what it has been. And yes, it may not be blatant. I would prefer blatant, but it may not be blatant. But there is still racism in this country. And I'm sorry for the people that's in her position that have come to the conclusion of it's just like just now being like, damn, maybe I've been looking at this all wrong. And I think she's around my age. Like, it's not that I have given up. I do want the Democratic Party to do better. I do. But I hate choosing the lesser of the two evils. We've been having this back to back. And I have been conscious enough, like I said before with the James Baldwin quote, to be conscious and to be black in America is to be in a constant state of rage. And I'm tired of being rage. Like I said before in the last video, I can't be mad at white people. I can't be mad at racism being racist. All I can do is control what I can control, not let it eat me up on the inside with my health, protect my family, protect my friends, protect the women that are in my life that do look towards me for some type of protection or any type of guidance. The young black men that look at me for some, like I got a group of men that I care about what they think about themselves because they look like me. You understand what I mean? And I make sure that they understand when it comes to love, when it comes to business practices, when it comes to jobs. I try to throw out little hints of, who's hiring, shit like. It's just like the little bit that I do. It may not seem like a lot, but I do care about the little circle that I do have. Circle of Pharaohs. But the little circle of Pharaohs that I do have. But I can understand because she goes on, and I think that I think that what I'm taking from that is that she's exhausted. She's exhausted of the rigmarole that just what she said Democrats have put in her through when it comes to trying to sell her a fucking dream when they have not provided any type of actual results that dive into blackness. And even that has, because the reason why ADOS was even created is because blackness is not all the same. Yes, we may be like even somebody like Obama, when he was talking about in his book how he tried to wave down a cab and he couldn't get a cab because he's black. it's a different type of experience from a black man in Mississippi that probably is on the brink of damn near, he's in a sundown town. You understand what I mean? Or some, like I said before, the black trucker that somehow randomly appeared dead, hung. It's a different type of experience. Yes, it may be racism involved in both of those instances, but it's levels to this shit. We can agree to that there's levels to this shit. If you don't want to agree with that, I can't talk with you because you just don't believe that. Just because, like, case in point, if I was to go to jail, right? I was to go to jail with a slap on the wrist on the aspect of maybe I got caught wrong place, wrong time, being, like I said before, being at a traffic stop and a cop says some racist shit. That's a different type of level of the shit that happened to Mike Brown and the instances that the life that he has to live until he died. St. Louis is fucking different, bruh. But it cost a black man's life for America to realize and wake the fuck up on this shit is still going on. It cost a lot of black people's lives for people to wake the fuck up, and we're still eating the failure. Like Yvette Carnell has said, we eat the fucking failure of America. And yes, I don't believe that there is a flat blackness or blackness is a monolith. I don't believe that. But I do believe that when it comes to predominantly black, the descendants of chattel slavery, yes, I do believe that there is a flat blackness. Because y'all don't want to say it, Caribbean folks, y'all don't want to say it, African diaspora, but even y'all parents have told y'all when y'all was going to school to stay away from them niggas. Stay away from them niggas. You know what I'm fucking talking about. Y'all might not want to agree with that shit, but it's the truth. We need to talk about shit like that. That's a whole nother fucking bag of worms, a whole nother video. I'll get into it later. But we don't even want to talk about shit like that, let alone having somebody else like having somebody like Kamala talk to us, or even Obama try to come and talk to us. But I'm gonna let her finish. My bad.
It does not care about fair. The truth is, there is nothing Kamala Harris could have done to win that election. I knew it when she became the nominee, and I'm more sure than ever before. Many leftists want to believe and will continue to argue tooth and nail that she did not win because she wasn't left enough, because she was too centrist, because of her stance on Gaza. But the evidence simply does not reflect this. First of all, maybe if only Kamala Harris lost, you could choose to ignore all the data that explicitly told us that Americans believed Kamala Harris and the Democrats were too liberal, which is something they likely believed not because of Kamala Harris's actual stances or policy agenda, but simply because she's a black woman. But it wasn't just Kamala Harris who lost. It's not even just that the Democrats are projected to lose the Senate and the House, but progressive legislation on the ballot failed all over the country. From Florida to California failed. The entire country moved to the far right. Some leftists will choose to believe that the entire country moving to the far right, shooting down progressive legislation and candidates nationwide, and explicitly declaring that the Democratic candidate was too left is proof that the candidate lost because she didn't openly pander to the far left enough. Many of whom declared time and time again that they wouldn't vote for a Democrat under any circumstances because they were going to break the duopoly, get the Greens to 5%, teach the Democrats a lesson on Gaza, vote their conscience, vote their heart, not vote at all because both parties are the same and fascism is already here. Some leftists will choose to believe this outcome is the result of Gaza, and that this outcome proves that the Democrats would have won had they listened to the furthest left. But the data does not support this. Jill Stein did not win 5%. She didn't even win 2%, not in Michigan or anywhere else. The exit polls indicated what many already knew, and it's that Americans care about domestic issues far more than they care about foreign policy or what happens abroad. They voted on economy and their flatly incorrect belief that Trump would be better on the economy, despite economist after economist assuring us all that Trump will destroy the economy, and that he would suppress the marginalized groups they've grown.
Remember what I was telling you about? Black people are predominantly eating the failure. So when it comes to economy, we're not worried about money because we don't have fucking money. You understand what I mean? We don't, going back to Jeremy Frimpong, we don't fucking have money. So why are we worried about shit that's other, Like when it comes to Ukraine, when it came to France, when it came to all those other countries, when it came to even Palestine, that's none of our fucking business. And we don't really truly give a fuck because it's not affecting us on a day-to-day. Niggas gotta buy they fucking kids diapers. Nigga, we gotta make sure that we can eat eggs. Eat with eggs, milk, bread. We got sandwich meat in the fucking refrigerator. We gotta make sure that we still got a job the next day. That's what black people are worried about, fucking day-to-day survival. When you talk about being stuck in survival mode, that's black life a lot of the times. Not sure about how it is with Caribbean life. I'm not sure what how it is when it comes to African diaspora life when they come over here. I'm talking about black people that are born here, have descendants of chattel slavery here. That's black life here, predominantly. Okay? Now, all you people that say that's not my life, cool. But listen, that's not, you are not the be all to end all when it comes to black people. I'm not either. But when it comes to a track history, if you do your research, you understand that yes, I may be an outlier. I may be an outlier. Look into the Outliers book, Gladwell, when he talks about that type of situation where, yes, there are outliers to certain situations. But if you're still thinking that my side is the outlier when you have results like this, when it comes to Trump in the election, when you, like, we have seen that, yes, Democrats could be probably best for us when it comes to the economy. But obviously, black people ain't worried about the economy. We worried about the bare minimum. How can I make sure that our family is straight? How can I make sure that the day-to-day, when it comes to what I have, is not going to be, like I said before, the cultural aspect. When it comes to Jeremy Frimpong said, the cultural, that's what Republicans was selling. And then black people was eating that shit up. Like I said before, I don't agree with the whole aspect of, Democrats' views on the family culture, because they kind of just like I said before, they feel like you just got to figure it out by yourself. You know what I mean? But Republicans' views on getting a job is you got to figure it out yourself. They're more so on the aspect of if you don't get it out the mud, that's what the Republicans be like. If you don't get it out the mud, then you ain't really American. And we already know how, when it comes to getting it out the mud in America, you gonna really tell me that America got it out the mud and they didn't get it off of other people's fucking backs? Yeah, there was some smart motherfuckers. They strategically put people in the fucking field. Strategically. Now you getting the prescriptions, America. You getting the fucking prescriptions. But I'm gonna let her finish. My bad.
I'm sick of hearing from. Leftists will say that Democrats have no one to blame for the results of this election but themselves. But that implies that it's Democrats who lost something tonight. But it's all of us who lost. We will lose our rights. And many of us will lose our lives. You are not dunking on the Dems. You are dunking on us. The joke is on us. America is not who many leftists want to believe it is. The truth is that this country is deeply, deeply racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, fundamentally hateful, and downright uneducated. No one will gain anything from a Trump presidency, but the losses will be crippling. Importantly, although I think many leftists are wrong,
I don't think that no one will gain anything from a Trump presidency. Like I said before, people have different aspects of what's more important to them. Specifically, obviously, you see what black people voting was more important to them. Whether it be the cultural family aspect or the nuclear family, maybe that's more important to a lot of black men. And I think it is because of how predominantly they've been moving to the right. Me personally, I don't have a family. I do want a family, but I don't have a family. But I do see the allure as a black man going towards the aspect of a nuclear family. I do see it. I can also see how that don't mean shit to another person or another man or another black woman or another black man that don't give a fuck about a family. Like, they're thinking about my job, more so like it's not really cultural, it's economic wise. You understand what I mean? It's more so my job or things with taxes or things with aspects of money. You know what I mean? Aspects of, I guess, day-to-day when it comes to insurance or when it comes to gas or when it comes to, shit like that. You understand what I mean? But yeah, it's getting crazy out here, man.
And what they'll choose to take from the results of this election. I want to be explicitly and abundantly clear that leftists, far left or otherwise, are not to blame for the results of this election. Shoots, not even the Electoral College is to blame, because most voters did vote for Trump. But you know who didn't? Black people. If there is one solitary group in this country who is not to blame for the dark times that are soon to come upon us, it's black people who voted overwhelmingly for the Democrats and to save this democracy. And despite how many thinly veiled racist attacks black people had to endure all election season, that we were only voting for Kamala because she's black, all ranging from Republicans to white leftists and even some non-white people, like the Green Party's both transphobic and anti-abortion vice presidential pick, Butch Ware, the truth is that black people always vote overwhelmingly Democrat, even when the candidates have been white as they usually are, because the alternative is a white supremacist party openly and aggressively committed to our subjugation. So do not look to black people to blame for what's to come. Look to white men, white women, and Latino voters, who I wish I could say I was surprised by, but I am not, because I know what this country is. Throughout Kamala Harris's campaign, people who invested their efforts into protesting against her.
I want to just, in a closely divided race, wide differences in vote preferencing by race, ethnicity, age, and education. I'm going to just post this right here. All voters, strong, mod, lean, black. Do you see that 84? Pew Research. I just want to let y'all see that this just is not just talking. This is 2024. You understand what I mean? The ages. You see what I mean? Post-grad, high school or less, union members, non-union members, veterans, non-veterans, predominantly. Who's the lowest? White. Who's right next to them? Hispanic. This is just what it is, man. This is just what it is. This is just what it is. It's the Pew Research, man. But going back to what she said before, I want to let her.
Because their contempt is reserved for liberals, not fascists, told us that they were protesting Kamala Harris and making demands of Kamala Harris while speaking nothing of Donald Trump, asking nothing of Donald Trump, and downplaying every threat made by Donald Trump, because they said that they knew they could not get anywhere with Donald Trump. And they were correct. We will not get anywhere with Donald Trump. So save your demands, because he will not hear them. Hold off on your protests, because you will likely be brutalized and criminalized, as Donald Trump has promised police violence. Make peace with the rights that you've already lost to Trump's Supreme Court, and kiss the remainders goodbye, because any hope at saving the Supreme Court or any of your rights is done, at least for your lifetime. Whatever you thought the Democrats didn't do enough of, prepare to lose even that much. I don't have to wonder about the nightmare to come, because Donald Trump, the Republicans, and the Christian Heritage Foundation told us exactly what they have planned and how they're going to do it. And America overwhelmingly declared that it's what they want.
Remember what I said about I'd rather have an upfront racist than a behind my back racist? I think that's the difference between certain black people. I would rather have that, but I also have a lived experience of being almost desensitized to racism, that is kind of like it is what it is. I say desensitized. It's not that I'm not sensitized to it, but it is what it is. If you feel this way about black people, I'm not gonna anger my way into your life so you can feel how I want you to feel. You're racist. It's like, it is what it is. What you want me to do? You got a history of being racist? That's you. Like, I'm not gonna lose sleep out, just for lack of better words. But I put this video here because, like I said before, this is the first video that YouTube recommended me after the whole incident, and she goes into detail. I want to just,
And who am I to lecture America about what's best for them?
Yeah, that's what I said.
I moved through so many emotions tonight, from heartbreaking disbelief to rage.
Heartbreaking disbelief is, if you don't get anything, if you are a black person or a person that may have the same disbelief of this is America, this is America. I don't want you to feel heartbreak. I don't want you to feel disbelief. I want you to take it for what it is. And just going forward, like I said before, take these two things. Voting is an exchange, not a gift. we as black people have been gifting our fucking vote with no repercussions of the things that they do, the things that they say, wagging their fingers in our face, telling us why we should do what they want us to do. What type of shit is that in this type of country? Like, fuck you, sincerely. Wait 1 minute. Yeah, fuck you sincerely, dog. Like, how dare you? You know what I mean? But also, once again, Obama is not black in a lot of ADOS's eyes, because of the aspect of he's half white. That's the first thing, and he's also African. He's not descendants of chattel slavery black. You understand what I mean? And that may rub a few feathers wrong. This may even rub the lady that's doing this video wrong. It's just, it is what it is. It's just the truth. And your lived experience is not wrong, or it's not that it does not matter. But you have to understand that you're coming to a country getting mad at the people that's already there, mind you, about their lived experience. Now, you see how fucking bonkers that sound? To tell them that you have a warped sense of you when a lot of us have been here. You understand what I mean? And how disrespectful it would be if you were to go to if you were to go to Japan and tell them about their lived experience. You understand what I mean? It's the same type of disrespect. I don't understand why they don't see it like that, but you know, because you look like me, I guess that's why you feel as though you can tell me, which is a part of the problem with America and how people will come over here and tell the black people over here how to live their lives, how to civilize themselves. Who that sound like to you? You know what I mean? Who that sound like? What type of people does that sound like? Does that sound like a upstanding American or a goddamn get her done? Ah, shit. I don't know if I've been talking this whole time. I ain't even know. But yeah, we're gonna watch another video.
Donald Trump will become the
This is
47th
by
president of the United States.
I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
So I think we should start off by just saying what's happening, and then my big question is going to be, how should we be thinking about this?
We now know that Donald Trump is returning to the White House. American voters have seen what Trump had to offer, and at least a critical mass of them decided they want to do the same thing again.
I called up some colleagues at Vox to ask what we should be making of this moment, and I ended up spending a long time talking to Zach.
I'm Zach Beecham. I'm a senior correspondent at Vox.
Zach writes about reactionary politics, the right wing, basically. And
that's what I don't want from black people. I don't want them to specifically vote Republican just because Democrats have basically, it's like voting is an exchange. What are you getting out of the Republicans that you could not get out of? Like, that's what I want you to, if you're going to vote Republican, get something the fuck out of it. Like, just get something out of it that you want, specifically you. You understand what I mean? It's an exchange, not a gift, like I said before.
the thing that he really wanted me to
Not
understand is that even though the
emotional.
outcome of this election is the same as the 2016 election, the Trump who is about to become president is different.
Donald Trump is much more organized. He knows what he's doing, has a series of distinct policy objectives that he's reiterated again and again. It will be in a lot of ways fundamentally different than what we all lived through 4 years ago.
Lock up the Bidens. Lock up Hillary. Lock them up.
The first time Trump was president, he wanted to do all sorts of very controversial things, and a lot of times he didn't actually end up doing them. One big example is wanting his critics and political opponents to be prosecuted. He was constrained by other parts of the political system, the guardrails of democracy. I'm Andrew Prokop. I cover politics. The guardrails encompass first Congress and the courts. But also within the executive branch, you have Trump's own appointees for top positions who often last time around proved unwilling to carry out some of the things he wanted to do. Then you also have the permanent civil service career employees that he can't fire at will. Well, first of all, the courts have grown more conservative and more Trump-friendly since he put 3 of his own appointees in the Supreme Court. Congressional Republicans have grown much more pro-Trump. Trump and the people around him want hardcore MAGA true believers staffing the government.
That's going to be, like I said before, it's not going to be Trump. That's the most spookiest. It's going to be the people beneath him, because they're going to be like a new supervisor on the workroom floor. Now they got to prove why the person that put them as a superversive role was a good decision. So they got to basically make examples out of niggas, for lack of better words. They got to make examples out of niggas. And it's fucked up, but that's just how this shit goes. We gonna see a lot of the bullshit they gonna be on. A lot of people, like Emery Frimpong was saying, that the vice president, he's gonna be the young dude that's gonna be on some like, I'ma make America great.
Who will not have these pesky qualms about legality or ethics or things like that. And regarding the civil service, Trump wants to use an executive order to reclassify thousands of people with civil service protections against firing as political appointees who he can fire, to then put in a lot of MAGA loyalists in their place instead. He's had 4 years to basically stew over,
That's me. He trying to get rid of my job type shit.
What he didn't get to do last time, and what he would do differently if he was given another chance, and now he will seemingly get that chance.
We're going to have the largest deportation in the history of our country.
The mantra that Trump had on the border on 2016 was build the wall. That was his centerpiece of his immigration platform. That sort of changed over the course of his presidency, and increasingly he wanted to turn his attention not to the border, but to the interior of the US, the undocumented population here. I'm Nicole Norea, and I cover politics and immigration for Vox. Under Biden, there were record levels of people arriving on the border. We've seen those numbers come down significantly in 2024, but when Americans are polled, large portions of them say that they want mass deportations. They might be thinking about people being deported immediately after they arrive on the border, but that's not what Trump's contemplating. He's trying to go into communities across the US, and we're talking about people who have lived here, for years and decades. That would sort of involve huge investments in law enforcement, and also the cooperation of local law enforcement agencies, which I'm not sure we would see.
Remember what I said before? How black people eat the failure? How much you want to bet that the first of those communities that he's going to go to are going to be predominantly black, then predominantly brown, and then predominantly yellow or Asian? Then he's going to talk about some white predominant. He's not going to trailer parks. I just pretty much got to guarantee he's not going to be going to trailer parks. You understand me? He's going to be going to predominantly urban areas, which is, like I said before, we eat
the necessarily Democratic states, but let's say in states like Texas and Florida, certainly you might find law enforcement willing to cooperate with federal immigration authorities there.
A landmark decision in American history as it relates to presidential power.
When Trump initially took office, the median vote on the Supreme Court was a moderate conservative, someone who would draw the line somewhere. Then Trump appointed a third of the United States Supreme Court. I'm Ian Millhiser. I cover the Supreme Court at Vox. Trump v. United States is the decision that came down last July concerning Special Prosecutor Jack Smith's indictment of Trump for trying to steal the 2020 presidential election. Trump made this really outlandish argument that he could not be charged with a crime for any official acts he committed while president. Pretty much everyone thought that that argument was silly and ridiculous, and there was no chance that the court would ever adopt it. And then all 6 of the Republican justices adopted it. What that decision said, it said that Donald Trump is immune from criminal prosecution for crimes that he commits using the official powers of office. Trump is allowed to give any order he wants to the Department of Justice. The basic matter is just that anything he does can potentially be beyond the scope of the criminal justice process.
More than 40,000 Palestinians killed since the October 7th Hamas massacre.
Right now, the situation on the ground in Gaza is an extraordinary humanitarian crisis and a moral stain on the United States for enabling so much of this to happen.
All I can think about is what Asmongold was saying, and how to this day there's still people in that last video commenting how his apology is an apology and we should take it at face value. When, bruh, like, come on, bruh. Do I gotta say this again? If he shows you who he is, that's who he is. So his apology don't mean shit if it ain't got no actions, it ain't got no teeth behind that shit. I don't understand the people that. And the funny thing is that it's Asian. I seen one dude from the Philippines. One dude had he had his face in his avatar. He was Asian. It's the most craziest shit. And then I got some other people. Basically, these people not even white. They're not white people. They're not white people. What I'm saying to you, that I hope you understand it, they're not just white people. That it's actually it's actually not predominantly white people that's commenting on these videos. These are immigrants, these are either immigrants or people that have been here less than white people or black people, that and telling them how they should feel about a topic of when it comes to race or when it comes to handling certain subjects of. It's like, you can have your opinion. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have your opinion. Those of you that are not white, you can have your opinion. But just like you can have your opinion, I can have mine. It's just that it was kind of like, I was kind of baffled that it was a person that was from the Philippines that was telling me that, you know, this is just a one-time offense and we should just let him be, you know. No, it's not a one-time offense. Or it was another dude that was Asian. He was talking about how it was the comment of, you know, I kind of laughed it off, but it's kind of because it's racist, but it's like I'm insensitive. I mean, I'm desensitized to the bullshit, I guess. But basically, he was saying at least he said it in a sense of, unlike your people, unlike my people. Don't know what he meant by that, but I can kind of get a guesstimate of what he meant by that. But unlike my people, they're not violent. And then somebody that was also Asian underneath him said that basically the statistics show that it's like backing up the point of the statistics show that predominantly your people, whatever he meant by your people, and whatever these statistics are, that predominantly we come to my people come to communities and create violence towards other people. And if that's how you think about us, if that's how you think about black people, I don't go by the Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. You get what you fucking get. You understand what I mean? That's not right. I do agree. But I'm human, motherfucker. Like, I'm fucking human. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. Like, and like I said before, to be conscious in America and to be black is to be in a constant state of rage, because you got these other people that be, well, America has made them into this person that they are, and we have to show some type of empathy because it's not their fault. They're only going by. No, fuck you, yo. Fuck you to think that we have to be empathetic to them because it's not their fault, because this country is, yes, America has taught me that, yes, you got to treat violence with fucking violence sometimes. Fuck you. When it comes to the people that says it's predominantly black men's fault, fuck you. Fuck you. When it comes to black people that's from the diaspora that's going against people of descendants of chattel slavery, same thing, fuck you. I don't know why I should have any type of empathy for motherfuckers that don't have empathy for me and what the fuck I got going on. And I must say it like I said before, I'm going to say it till I get blue in the face. Voting is an exchange, my nigga. I'm not just gifting my shit no more. I did in the past. I didn't know no better. I know now. I don't have no family, thank God. I don't have no children, thank God. I do have family that I live with. I do have family that I take care of. I make sure that they straight when I can. Not all the time, but when I can, when I have it, I got it. You know what I mean? I got people that I care of that's not my family, people that I love. You know what I mean? When I can. But You know what I mean? To blame black men on this shit is just fuck you. Fuck you, y'all.
But it can always get worse. Trump has a blank check approach to Israel. He and his advisors don't believe in any of the even feeble restraints that the Biden administration had put on Israeli conduct. There are factions inside the Israeli government that have different visions of how to conduct the war. The extreme right on Netanyahu's flank, people like Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben-Gvir, believe that Trump will let them do what they want based on what he said, what his advisors say, and what his political coalition at home wants.
Are you on board with the way the IDF is taking the fight in Gaza?
You've got to finish the problem.
These people have a maximalist vision of what they want the war to be. Actually seizing and taking Gaza for Israel and returning to settlement, right, to rebuilding Israeli outposts, moving Israeli Jewish citizens in to make sure that its control over the area never slips. That would mean not just temporary eviction of Gazans from their homes and their cities, which would be bad enough. It would mean creating a massive permanent refugee population.
Again, I'm not saying that Gaza life is not an important thing, but all I can think about is the amount of people that I serve that look like me, that are literally, whether they be homeless or on the fringe of homelessness. Can we talk about the homelessness epidemic and how much black people are in that group of homeless within the last, from 2016 to 2024? Can we talk about the, let's actually go to that. Let me do some. So this is the proportion of poverty relative to total population and race from 2020. Underrepresented in poverty, overrepresented in poverty, black and brown, but we somehow always eat the most failure. This is the thing. Yes, it's not right that I feel this way, but goddamn it, we gotta spread this shit. We gotta spread this shit. Everybody gotta get a little bit of failure. That's just what I'm in a perfect world. In a perfect world, America, I don't want nobody to eat failure. But what America has taught me, somebody has to eat the fucking failure to make this country run the way it runs. The most that I want to do is give everybody a little bit of failure. Give everybody a little bit of the fucking homelessness epidemic. Give everybody a little bit of we don't care about the economy. We care about the culture, the nuclear family. Give everybody that fucking survival mode so they can understand finally what the fuck we've been going through. So then you won't be surprised. So then maybe you won't be, why is this happening now? Oh my God, what? So then you can understand, or at least be at the very least empathetic to maybe they went through some shit and I understand that may not be positive, or it may not even be right morally or ethically, but you can also be empathetic to the aspects of their human emotions. Reactionary, I don't agree, but I understand. I understand why black people went straight to the Republicans. I don't agree with it. They went straight to them, not asking for shit. They just damn near just went to the Republicans and said, hey, we're over here now. And Republicans was like, okay, we ain't got to do shit for your ass? All right. Well, we're not going to do shit for your ass, but we damn sure ain't going to listen to your ass. We see what type of time you on. Like I said before, I understand. I don't agree, but I understand. But when we talk about the aspects of homelessness, that's all I don't mistake, homelessness in America. In America, we're going to countries like Gaza. We're going to countries like Palestine, Israel. We're fighting wars. We're supplying both sides. We're supplying both sides of the fucking war, mind you. We're supplying both sides of the war. You have the same instances with the Ukraine. We're supplying Ukraine government, but we still have racist issues within Ukraine where they were sending black people to war, specifically black men to war. You understand what I mean? Specifically sending black immigrant men to war because they were men and they don't have no right over there. But nobody wants to talk about those type of incidents. And when we do talk about them, we got motherfuckers that look like me also kowtowing, and it's just very nasty. It's just very nasty. Very nasty. Very fucking nasty. I just wanted to do some more research on this shit. Let me see.
Outside of Gaza, in the West Bank, we can only imagine. Previous American position has been you shall not under any circumstances annex parts of the West Bank. It would be Israel declaring, in essence, its willingness to rule over the Palestinians in perpetuity. What I do know for sure is that a Trump administration would do nothing to punish them for it.
Okay, let's make this quick. I'm Adam. I produced this video. I think it is fair to say this is a historic moment. And one thing it shows is that we truly do not know what the future holds. In these next 4 years, journalism is going to be important. Things will be confusing. It will sometimes be a struggle to know exactly what you should be paying attention to. We would like to be a place that you come to have your biggest questions answered, whether on our YouTube channel, our podcasts, our newsletters, our website. Our reporters, like the ones that you have seen in this video, their job is to point you to what actually matters. If you believe in that mission, the best way you can support it is by becoming a Vox member. It supports all the work that we do at Vox, and honestly, it'll also be when it is.
Trump declared he would veto a national abortion ban if he's reelected.
Trump winning the presidency is not good for abortion rights. I mean, he's been out there claiming that he's the father of IVF, that he's going to be great for women's rights. But he surrounds himself with lots of people who absolutely, do not have that as their goal. I'm Rachel Cohen. I cover social policy at Vox, and I've been really focused on abortion rights for the last 2.5 years since Roe was overturned. Something that has been confusing for voters is that I don't think we're going to see a federal ban coming out of Congress. The biggest way that Trump could, I think, use his executive power to restrict abortion rights is to push for the enforcement of the Comstock Act on the federal level. The Comstock Act was this law passed in 1873, and among other things, it banned mailing anything associated with abortion. When the Supreme Court legalized abortion nationwide, the Comstock Act was rendered moot. It didn't matter anymore, but Congress never actually repealed it. Now that Roe has been overturned, you have a bunch of conservatives, including J.D. Vance, who are saying now is the time actually to enforce this zombie law that's been on the books for decades that people forgot about, and we should ban anything associated with abortion from being sent in the mail. So that could include not only abortion pills, which are used in the majority of abortions in the US, but it could also mean any medical equipment associated with, surgical abortion, like dilators or speculums. That would effectively mean a nationwide ban on abortion.
Basically. Yeah, stop all mail deliveries to hospitals.
Some might say it's economic nationalism. I call it common sense.
The thing about tariffs is that the president has a lot of unilateral authority to impose them without Congress's will. I'm Eric Levitz, and I write about politics and policy. A tariff is basically a tax on an imported good. Usually the producer passes on the cost of that tax to consumers by charging higher prices to compensate for the tax. Trump's signature proposal on tariffs in the 2024 campaign was a 10% tariff on all foreign imports, regardless of what country they come from and regardless of what kind of good it is, which includes things that the United States cannot possibly produce. There's no tax that you can put on foreign coffee beans that will make it possible to grow them in New England. The general consensus from economists is that this is going to significantly increase prices for Americans, as well as actually potentially undermining American manufacturing. I think that in general, voters tend to be sympathetic to any protectionist trade policy, but I think that in practice, as we've seen in the Biden years, voters are very sensitive to increases in consumer prices. On the other hand, though, this is something that Trump really genuinely seems to believe and hold as a core economic principle, really since the late 1980s.
We let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade.
Put a 25% tax on products that come into the United States.
So that means that Trump plausibly could enact this tariff even if a majority of Republicans in Congress do not want him to.
It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite.
That 40%, 55 is like, oh, that's literally a landslide. That's like people leaving the middle of the game, like third quarter, like they ain't gonna come back from this. Like, Jesus.
And we're going to try, we have to try.
In any democratic system of government,
20,000.
you need nonpartisan civil servants whose job it is to follow and implement the law. A lot of that stuff is technical, from National Parks Administration to the way the Defense Department is run, to the way that we protect and store our nuclear weapons. Trump doesn't like this. Neutral rules of governance obstruct his ability to govern like a kind of machine politician who uses government as a tool of rewarding his friends and punishing his enemies. That's why he hates what he calls the deep state.
Demolish the deep state. Obliterate the deep state. Dismantle the deep state.
We could be in a world where very swiftly, because there are no legislative guardrails against this, what if the IRS is now a fully political agency and audits start coming in along political lines? Businesses or media organizations that are critical of Trump start being harassed using the tax code as a means of punishing them. Think about everything that you rely on government to do. And now imagine those tasks being bent towards political ends. Donald Trump is going to be the next president of the United States again. And this time around, we'll make the first time look like child's play.
That's because it was. He know what the fuck he know. He know what the fuck he doing now. I wouldn't say he know everything, but he know a lot more than he did before in the past. But that's all I wanted to fucking say on this subject. I wanted to get an opinion of Vox because they actually got the information on what's possibly going towards the future. You know, we basically don't know what the fuck is ahead. We all don't know what the fuck is ahead. But also the discrepancies and whims of black people. I know that the lady that the lady that I brought up, I know that she isn't the only one that's kind of just tired of this shit. And I know she also sees that, I don't know, but I feel as though she probably also, the reason why she even came to that conclusion, I feel, is that she sees the issue that America is also blaming black people because it's always our fault. We're the problem because we eat the failure. We're the problem because we have the homelessness. We're the problem because we complain too much about reparations, which rightfully so we're owed. We're owed that. We owe that. The fact that we even have, we're the problem because we have created civil rights. We're the problem because we complain too much about, like she said before, fighting and keep fighting. And yes, we have to keep fighting. We're the problem. We're always the problem. And now it's even kind of being divided with the gender war, mind you. The gender war now is also saying that not only is black people the problem, but specifically black men are the problem. Black men, just be clear. You're going to be blamed because whether you voted, whether you didn't vote, whether you voted Republican, whether you voted Democrat, you're still going to be either you're going to be casted and looked down upon. They're going to wag their finger in your face. And what I would say is try not to be reactionary. Get your facts straight. Try to have as much information that you can and do the best that you can not to, I say try not to be reactionary, but it's like, fuck them, man. Fuck them. You are a man. You are your generation. If you have been here and your family's been here, your people have been voting Democratic for the longest of all races. I don't know what else. It's like those people, sometimes it's more so they just trying to get a rise out of you, bruh. Just do what you know is best for you. And remember, I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face, like I said before, voting is an exchange, not a gift. Yvette Carnell, okay? Voting is an exchange. What are you getting out of this exchange? What have that politician said that you said, I'm going to give you my ballot? And that's totally upon you. Even if it's something quote unquote small, it's something that you believe is big. That's on you. Society's going to shame you. Society's going to try to tell you to look down upon you, going to wag their fingers in your face. That's none of their fucking business. That's the problem with America too. Is like they try to be in your business. It's none of their business, bruh. The fact I'm even making this video is to remind black men that it's none of their business who and what they vote, what you vote for. And if you are a black man that disagrees with this, so It is what it is, man. This is just my views. I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna change my views. I've been here long enough to allow my own self to make my own decisions on my own life and the people around me. I'm cool, bruh. I think that like I said before with the lady that I've made before this Vox video, I think she's gotten a little bit of a fucking reality check, for lack of better words, and I don't want to sound like I'm trying to, beat a dead horse when it comes to her. I think she did say that she kind of got a reality check, but it's like, I hate that you had to get this reality check like this. I think that a lot of us have been in reality and we know what it is. Even when we don't know what it is when it comes to Trump and what he'll do in the future, we know what America is. We know the beast that America is. We know the monsters that America creates on a day-to-day, damn near every week. And if it's not racist politicians, it's some shit that deals with the politics and the policies that's being had or upheld in our own communities. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna act like I'm the most educational when it comes to these type of things. That's why I watch these videos, because I like to hear other people's opinions, even if it's opinions that doesn't like agree with my own. Like, I just like hearing other people's thoughts on these type of things, these type of subjects. You understand what I mean? I like to hear their genuine experience and their genuine views, and also how my views clash with their views, and in what ways I can change my views on certain things, and what ways I can be like, nah, you just don't get it, and I'm gonna stay on my shit. I'm gonna stand on business. But that's all I wanted to say. I know it's an hour and 30 minutes long, but this is America. Don't catch you slipping, though. Don't catch you slipping, nope. Don't catch you slipping, nope. This is America. It is what it is, man. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Take care of your loved ones. And like that, we gone.